Thanks for checking our channel here. This is kind of part two of a video I have a repair slash explanation video I did on a Gallagher M1800 fence box that we got in for repair from we actually got it directly from Gallagher themselves here in the States. It belongs to a customer out of Texas, I think it is, and he took it to his local store. His store's like, just send it to Dale, their fence fixer, let him take care of it. No, I want Gallagher to do it, or whatever. So sent it to Gallagher. As far as I know, Gallagher never got the thing open because it was one of the screw heads was so stripped out from someone trying to get the screw out of there. They couldn't get the case apart, so they pried on it a little bit, and that still didn't get it apart. But when you kind of got it half apart, you could smell the electrical burn smell, electrical rubbery burnt yuck smell. It's really putrid, about burn your eyes and make your nose run. It's so putrid smelling. And they said, nope, can't fix it. The part it needed, if this had been a factory repair, if they had all the parts for it, they would have needed a new board and a new transformer. Well, both those parts are made by Gallagher and they're discontinued. They haven't made the M1800 probably 10 years, 9 years. It's been a few years since they built this model. It came out like 2002 or 3 or 4 is when the model was first released. So it's a 20-year-old or so design. And Gallagher makes all this stuff in-house. They don't outsource capacitors they get from somebody else, but the transformers are built by them, the boards are built by them. They even make their own plastic injection molding cases for all their stuff. So the dealer asked me, called me up, said, hey, Gallagher's got a fence charger down there. They said that they can't fix it. Do you think you can? I said, I don't know. I mean, worth a shot. I got to have it here first before I can say yay or nay. He said, well, what's the price to fix that thing? I said, I have no idea because I don't know what's wrong with it. I got to have it here. I get free quotes. So he's okay. That's right. I forgot to get free quotes. So, well, let me talk to the customer, see what he wants to do, and see if Gallagher sent it to you or send it back to us or what we got to do. So the customer wanted to take a chance on it because they offered him like a 10% trade-in off of a new one. And, new one's $1,000+ then he has tax on it and stuff and shipping maybe on the thing and stuff. So that 10% basically it knocked the tax off of it, but still he wasn't saving anything, I guess. So he didn't want to spend that kind of money on a new one, especially if we could try to fix this one. So we got it in. It took me about 20 minutes just to get the thing apart. Because the screw was stripped out, and it was just a nightmare. It's 10-20 minutes at least trying to get the case apart. And once I got it apart, I started to smell that really bad smell, and I actually finally found the transformer that came out of it. This is the transformer that was in it. Look how burnt up that is. Usually it's nice and smooth like this. You can see it's been arcing, and I mean it is just crusty. Yeah, it is really rough shape. And doesn't stink anymore. Luckily, this is aired out. But anyway, so it took about 2 or 3 hours to get this thing going. And it was going fine, clicking right along. I was like, okay, I'm going to make a video of this. Because I started making a repair video on it. And I stopped it at about 55 minutes in on the video. Realized this is going to take me I wasn't even halfway through figuring this dumb thing out. So I just stopped the video, and I'm saying I need to focus on working on it and trying to get things figured out. Luckily, I had a good working M1800 that we'd fixed for a customer here not too long ago, and I'm just waiting on a payment from the guy, and it had the board in it and everything. So I was like, well, I need to figure out, because everything basically right here was all burnt up. The transformer plugs into these 4 spots right here, these things here, and it was arcing right there so long. I don't know if lightning came in on there or what happened, but anyways, I don't know, it was arcing for so long it burnt up all this stuff here, the big old hole right there in the case, or the circuit board, and I didn't know what half the crap was that was on the board. Luckily, this board was still in good shape. A little bit different layout. I had parts in different location, but electrically it was the same. So I was able to, I knew what these two parts were. I didn't have any new ones. I had to steal them off of another board, and now we got to replace them anyways because one of them broke. And I pointed that out in my last video about this unit. But we put the diodes in there, put bigger diodes in it. We put resistors in there. These were 1.5 meg resistors. 1.5, yeah, 1,500,000 ohm resistors, these blue ones right here. I didn't have 1.5 meg. So I took a 1 meg and a 470,000 ohm resistor. I figured, well, it's only 30,000 ohms off. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a difference. So put those in, and that solved that problem. And then there was two small little resistors, one there and one right there. Those were half watt, 1K ohm resistors. One of them was still good, which is still sitting right there. And one of them wasn't any good because it was completely blown to bits and holes in the board. And so we had to solder one across there. Well, there's hardly any solder pad right there on this board because it was so burnt up. And also, here's a capacitor that was sitting next to, it sat like right there on the flip side of the board. And it was right up against that capacitor. That capacitor actually reads like 27 out of 30. But with it being as burnt up and charred up as it is, I was like, I'm not going to use it. So that's what this is right here. This took its place because I didn't have another one like that. So I still got to put I'm going to put a bead of like, I'll show you what I'm going to put on there actually. It's this stuff here. It's by the Flex Seal people. It's Flex glue. I like this stuff. It turns like a rock, but I never had it harden up on me. I've had this same too for like 6 months. And I just squirt a bead across there like that. And again, I give it about a full like 12 hours or longer to really cure and harden up and stuff. It's not real runny, but it just takes a while for it to cure. Once it cures, it's like a rock. So it, you know, keeps things solid and everything. So we got that capacitor soldered across where the other capacitor used to be at. Everything else up here on the board was fine. Checked out almost all these other parts up here. They were good. The longest part of it was figuring all the wiring. And, yeah, it was a real pain in the neck. So actually, I'm going to pull this transformer off. This is not the same transformer. It's from a different model, but it works. Ooh, oh, shit. Hold on. I got to unplug it first from this side because the little sleeves at the transformer plugged into, like these two right here, like metal, like female spades. There's two right there, and they're gone because they're all burned up. Oh, that one I actually removed. And but there's a transformer that has these 4 metal spades on there. And so we just drill the spot up bigger, crimped on a couple of female spade connectors, and just plug them on to the board, or to the transformer. But here's all the wiring that we had to do to get it all connected. And like on this other board, basically this big solder pad has about 8 or 9 solder joints in it with different things connected into all these resistors and diodes, and part of the SCR are all soldered in right there. So I've got it all soldered together. And that one is hard to see. Ooh, excuse me, that one big spot, because you can see a little hole in the board right there. So the thing got toast really bad. But luckily, I think what we just need to do now is I'm going to replace, I got new SCRs in. I'm going to put 2 new ones back in there because this one broke off. I was messing with it the day I got the thing finally clicking and flashing and pulsing along and testing. It was like 9,000 volts out of the thing. I was like, I'm going to make a video of this thing working so people can see it and see what we had to do. And I plugged it in, and dumb thing wouldn't work. I'm like, ah, shit. You know, just 5 minutes ago before I started the video, it was working fine. But that dumb SCR, I desoldered them and pulled them off another board of a different kind. And they were good SCR, but they're already been soldered and used, so the leads on it were real short. So it wasn't a whole lot sticking through the board. And so, you know, holding on by the thread and stuff. And then, you know, of course, setting this thing down and getting bumped around, it bent that SCR too many times, and straightened it back. It just broke it all the way off. So I couldn't keep using them. Luckily, it broke here. I told the dealer this. The dealer's already okayed the repair, because I said, let me get those other parts here. Let me get them put in and hope that nothing else is messed up, because it was working just fine until we did that. Get this capacitor out of the way. Come on. I don't want to pry on too much over here, because I don't want to bump anything. I'm going to, after we get this thing running again, I am going to put some kind of I don't know, hot glue or something into this area, just so it holds everything together and stuff doesn't move. I don't know about hot glue, but something so things don't get bumped around and move. And there's plenty of stuff there, and everything's pretty separated where it needs to be. But I don't want things to be jostled around and touch something that shouldn't touch. I mean, there's not much for it to touch, so I think it's all burnt up anyways and missing. But, you know, you never know. So now what we got to do is I'm going to desolder, and I'm going to pull off a wiring, and then I need to get the leftover bits of lead that's still poking through the case. I got to get all that out of there so I can get the new. The SCR showed up here actually yesterday, but late, and so I didn't get a chance to finish it. Took about, well, see, I ordered stuff on a Friday evening or Thursday evening, whatever it was, and everything got here Tuesday late afternoon, and I was already busy doing other stuff. So the time I saw it, it was late in the day, and I was like, I don't have time. I'll just do it tomorrow, which is today, Wednesday. So now I'm just trying to get all the solder pulled off so I can get those leads, the leftover bits to pull. Oh, God, that's hot. So I spent a long time on this thing. And I charged the guy accordingly. And the dealer's like, yep, that sounds good. I talked to the customer, and he said that sounds like a good plan to him. A lot cheaper than a new one. And he did ask, he said, well, if we had went with a new one, what model would you have suggested? I said, well, he wants the equivalent. That would be the M1800i, which is about $1,300. So yeah, I told him about that one. So that's what Gallagher recommended. I was like, well, if they would allowed it, which I think they did, I think they do, but I said you could have looked at the M1500. That's a 15 joule. This is an 18 stored. That's a 15 stored. I don't know what the output joules was on this one. Probably 11, 12, you know, somewhere in that range. Maybe 13. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm going to do one SCR at a time, so, because it's where we bought the SCRs from. We got them from Mauser Electronics. We get a lot of parts from there. Get parts from other places as well. They don't sponsor us. I buy this stuff just like anybody else does. I didn't buy a lot. I bought 4 of them. I only needed 2. But for the shipping, I was like, you know, it's going to cost me the same to get 2 as it would be to get 10. I don't need 10 of them. So, well, I'll get a couple spares. So I got 4 new ones. And I think Yeah, look at the specs on the, or the number on this one. Yeah. I think it's a size amperage or voltage a little bit bigger than the other one was. Alright, so these do go in a certain way. So we'll shove it in like that. Soldering iron's warmed up, so it's ready to go. Okay, now there's a little bit more work we still got to do because we got to, well, I mean, I still got to replace the other SCR, but I got to get the, there's some stuff on here that has to be reconnected, like this wire here needs to go back down there. I'm going to add a little extra solder to the iron here. Hopefully it won't burn my hand. There's that. This goes right there. Ow. That heat, that soldering iron travels up that wire pretty quick, so it gets pretty hot, especially when you're look your fingers real close to where you're soldering at. Sometimes I'll take a flat screwdriver or something and use it to kind of help hold things down while I'm messing with the stuff. Now we need to put a piece of wire, because the trace between this contact right here, which is hard to see for you, let me zoom in a little bit. The contact goes from this spot to this spot is of course missing. So we got to I take a piece of wire, strip it back. I'll tin this wire by adding a little melting, coating this with some solder, and we'll touch across both spots like that. Since everything's covered in solder, should be able to heat them up and they flow right together. That's, may not have to coat it in solder, but I think it just helps everything out. So that's what I like to do. So add a little solder to the iron so that way the heat flows real good. We're going to the back side of the wire. God dang. That gets hot fast. I'm going to add a little bit extra solder there. And then we'll, I'm going to get my smaller needle nose out because this wire is hot. I got to hold it there steady. So heat those two up together first. There's one. Let it kind of cool down for a second. Then we should be able to just flow those together like that. It's getting hot. Ooh, can't hold it no more. Snip off the rest. Come on. Come on. Okay. Okay, now we need to find, so that one's on nice and tight. It ain't jiggling around like the other one did originally. So now we need to take care of that one, right, that SER, because I mean it's in there and it's not wiggling around and everything, but I'm gonna do both SCRs at the same time because I don't take chances. When I do the work, spend all the time, and then have something happen to the thing. So use my desolder braid, the good stuff. Pull it off there. So this little jumper lead right there goes to the middle leg of the SCR. I'm trying to remember that. because the solder pad for it is gone. I did tell the dealer to tell the customer, said, you know, I can't put, you know, our 18-month warranty on this because look how bad it is. I said, I'll put something on it. I said, but I'll cover like some parts, but I'm not going to cover the labor because I spent so much time on this thing to get the thing going. I said, but I said he might want to consider saving up some money to look for a replacement unit. You know, ooh, that's hot. Somewhere down the road, he's gonna have to buy a new one because, you know, can't limp things along forever when they get to be, not because of the age of the unit, but just because of the damage. Because we've worked on lots of units that were way older than this. This thing's got to be, like I said, it's a 2015 circuit board, had a 2016 transformer in it, but the capacitors are like from like 2005 or 6, so this unit's been worked on before. It's hard to own anything that's 20 years old and not have something go wrong with it at some point in time. There we go. Look at that. I got one lead that's holding on by a thread. Oh, because it broke. That's why. Yeah, that's why the dumb thing wouldn't work. Combination of one lead and the other lead not physically connecting to the SCR itself. So that's one reason why I'm just going to change both and be done with it. Okay, new SCR. Luckily, there was at least 2 of the holes still good enough shape. Okay, we're going to this pad. Show that up a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Then this middle leg is the one that went to this little wire there. So I'm going to add some solder to that lead there. I'm going to add a little solder to this wire. I think there might be some already on there. I'm going to add just a little bit more to kind of, just to make sure. Then we should be able to grab it. Okay, and then I'm going to solder this one right there. Okay, so let's snip off some of the extra that we don't need sticking out. Alright, I'm going to zoom back out. We're going to start reassembling stuff. See, this capacitor goes right here. These capacitors are the original ones, just like I was saying, and they all read really good still. That capacitor is attached to a lane there. The original transformer plugs in a certain way, which, just from experience, is this way right here. Okay. squeeze on this and tighten it up a little bit. That goes right there. That goes right there. Okay, well, we didn't mess anything else up. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm always a little nervous since I had to do some rework to it. Let's plug it in here to a power strip. Here we go. God damn, what the hell happened there? Something marked somewhere. Not sure what the hell that was from. God damn. See how much energy is on the primary side? All those capacitors. That was the primary discharge, not the output section, because it flashed over here. So there's way more energy on the primary input side. A lot more amperage. Not as much voltage, but way more amperage on the primary side. Plug it back in, because I think it was clicking after that first initial. I'm going to turn my head this time. And it's working. Hear it clicking. So something must have been a little too close somewhere. I think it was that resistor there. But see, it's working. God damn. Let's get dangerous. I wasn't expecting that. I was staring. I was about, I don't know, about a foot, probably 18 inches to 2 foot away, my face from the board. I guess what that would be in. That would be what, 70% of a meter. So. Let's put our tester on here. God, my ears and my head are like it was like a percussion. It wasn't like hit you like a percussion hit, but it was just so loud. I mean, it just, you're not expecting it. You can't brace for it. Oh, my head hurts. I fell back and I put my hand against the shelf because it scared the piss out of me. Woo! Alright, let's see what kind of spark this thing will jump. There's a little internal lightning diverter on the terminals right there. There's a fencing ground right up here. I'm just going to close that gap up with a screwdriver and we'll see what kind of spark it'll throw. So, see how that's loud enough? I mean, it's a nice spark. Not shoots a spark that big. Nice, bright, heavy spark. Actually, had a little sparks flying off the side of the screwdriver when it hit. See how loud it was? It was loud enough. How loud it was over here. There's so much more energy on the primary side. There's so much more amperage. Way less voltage. It's like probably 600, 700, 800 volts. DC voltage on the primary side. I don't know how many amps, whatever the amps are. But on the output side, there's way more voltage. Probably, 7, 8, 9,000 volts. Well, 10,000 volts, whatever it was on the output side. But there's way more less amps. And it only shocks whenever that's clicking. Every time it clicks is when it fires. So it's not a constant, constant shock. But look, it's working. Phew, god dang. That was nuts. The green light bulb's a little bit burned out, but that's cosmetic. They burn out. You can fix it now, and 3 years later, it's burned out again. It's a neon bulb. They burn out over time. But anyway, this one's going. I told you it was working. So I had to replace those 2 big SCR with new good ones with longer legs on them that we didn't have to worry about breaking and bending and falling off. Alright, so I gotta touch up that area a little bit, put some stuff in there to keep things stuck in place. Probably put some hot glue or something in there. I don't want to use epoxy. I might be able to use that white glue stuff that we use, that flex glue. Alright, well that's it for this video. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead, clean things up, get everything reassembled, call the customer back, say, hey, we're all done, and get payment from them, and then whoop, out the door this thing will go, probably tomorrow. It's kind of early in the afternoon, or late morning on a Wednesday, and I don't start shipping things out till around like 4 o'clock. So I'll wait to do it the next day, depending on what I got going on that day. But anyways, thanks for watching. Till next time, see you later on. That was a close shave.